Hi, I'm Lloyd, and we're at the Colorado Learning Center for Human Anatomy again, and we're going to be talking about the basics of skeletal muscle. When we talk about muscle in the first place, just muscle tissue, it's all about things, tissue that can make movement happen. And the human body has three types. It has cardiac muscle in the heart, which is the heartbeat, smooth muscle, which is mostly in the bowel, but everything from the swallowing all the way through digestion, processing food, and then getting rid of it. And then skeletal muscle. Skeletal muscle is really what we think about when we talk about muscle, because skeletal muscle is what we see moving. It's the muscle that attaches from bone to bone. It's what causes the bones to move across joints, and it's where we see movement happening. You know, if you go to the gym and somebody tells you that they're going to be flexing their colon, you really need to get away from them. This, on the other hand, is what we think of. It's where we see the movement of walking or lifting or carrying things from place to place. When we look at this muscle here, this is the pec major. And so pectoralis major or pec major or just the pecs, what we see very clearly here, this would be attached to the sternum. This is actually the humerus, or again, we talked about that being a funny bone at one point. The humerus is what's going to be moving the upper arm. And we can see that the muscle has a very clear direction, that these lines are actually the lines that show you the direction of the muscle fibers. And so when we see this, there's something that I like to call the rule of hand, or just conceitedly Lloyd's rule of hand. And that is, if we place the fingers of the hand in the direction of the muscle, then we can approximate the direction of the muscle fibers going from the origin to the insertion. And we can actually see, if we contract the hand, contract the fingers, that we'll actually create the same kind of movement that the muscle would make. In this case, we would see that from the sternum to the shoulder, if we bring the arm out, if we place the hand here, contracting it, we would actually bring the arm into the direction of movement. That's what the pecs do. The pecs bring the arm into line with the chest. They'll actually bring it about to here. So that's very good for certain types of movements, part of a push-up, for instance, or part of a throw. And that's where we'll see that occur. Now, that's a very different fiber direction than what we see here at the delts. The delts, we do see that the anterior delt and the posterior delt have a bit of that same idea, that the fiber direction is going kind of a sweep down to the middle of the upper arm. The middle delt, on the other hand, look at this. What we see is that it's actually going in different directions. It's almost going at cross, it's almost woven together, just like that. And so what that's doing is it's providing a lot of stability for this very lateral movement. And so it's coming out there. So with the deltoids, what we're seeing is that anterior deltoids gives us this movement, posterior deltoids gives us this movement, and then the middle delts gives us this movement. But with the middle delts, it gets a lot of support from the anterior and posterior muscles as well. So that's just something about the fiber direction, and we'll be looking at more details in other segments.